So, I feel like I know some of you guys, little bits here and there, not everyone, but it's been really nice to be here. I feel like I'm usually in a hosting role, so when, I don't know if any of you guys feel the same around the room, when you're hosting, you're kind of like leading the energy up on the stage and you're like holding space. There is limited spots for like open mic and stuff, so I don't really tend to perform at my event because I don't really want to take up the space that there's limited already. And everyone's like, why don't you just perform? And like, I just am like, nah. And then even when I do, I'm like, I don't want to bring down the tone in the room, even though that's what poetry's for, and like to be able to express. Like sometimes I feel like when you have an event, you want to be like that, like switched on, happy person for everyone in the room. So yeah, I just go and perform my sad stuff elsewhere. But yeah, no, so I don't really tend to do that. So yeah, basically it's a really nice opportunity tonight. And I'm gonna share it's a piece that's like a page poem. It's not really for spoken word, so bear with that in terms of like the rhythm and stuff. But I want to share this because I don't know if this actually makes much sense outside of how I understand it. So just interested to know what your thoughts are on it, basically. Okay. It's an open day that's wide, Mary's legs, bare but not barren, fruitful but I'm far from Eve. See, I'm complicit in my own deceit. I should pray. I should find something to say and someone to be. Isn't this what I've always said I wanted? To have everything so that I can be nothing and feel nothing. And yet I'm restless. I thought I'd stress less, but it's daunting to have nothing I'm supposed to do and nothing I'm unwillingly bound to, because if I'm not full, then I'm empty. And then what's left? Just an insatiable need for what I do not know, nor do I desire to know. Because not knowing my calling is a pain that I can manage, a pain that I've slept with night after night, a loyal partner, a pain that was kept in my breast pocket. I know its weight. But how heavy it must feel to fail at what you love, want, and can't deter from doing. I don't think I could bear that weight. I might break. I can't bear another thing, another person not loving me back, especially not a life purpose. So as the day unfolds ahead of me, yellow brick road, no emerald city, but when I click my heels, ruby red slippers, seeping secret blood from how far I've journeyed, there's no place like home, but there's no home for me or place to be, only continuation, endurance. So I continue my bad habits and endure the consequences of my decisions. And although I'm far from innocent, I will not be dubbed indolent, for I know better. Seizing the day requires an army of determination, an artillery of authenticity, and a fucking plan. You need to be knowledgeable in the art of war and in the right position, ready to die for the cause, fearless in your attacks and deft in your defence. But my troops are scattered, army battered, and I run for the hill as the day seizes me, and I realise that I'm my own worst enemy. I've lost in my mind, so then I put up no fight, and I'm left ruined by my own blights or lack of foresight and inability to believe in myself. But night falls, providing the final veil of excuses, somewhere to hide until tomorrow when the battle continues with a day open wide. Yeah. So I don't know if it makes sense.
I'm going to say it's like, one thing I like about your writing style, Memo, is just like, you're like the few poets I know that read from a book, apart from Queen Leo. It's like listen to a book. In fact, I feel like I'm reading a book. I feel like I'm actually reading a novel. Like your writing style is like, it takes me like a novel time period. It's like I'm listening to the words you're using. It's like I can imagine it. It's like you're telling like a famous storytelling, like a Theodorsky's kind of style, Charles Dickens kind of way.
Thank you. Thank you.
You bring it to life, but it's very descriptive, I think. So you're bringing it's like visualization as you're kind of speaking. So yeah, I'm sorry.
I wasn't thinking about this. I mean, yeah, obviously your style is also. It's true what you said, because I was gonna say I really see myself in everything you said. I think I'm going through something really similar, and I was like, I felt like I wrote I wrote that too, like
through me. I love that.
something like that. And it looks like a story, but also a stream of consciousness to me, like a stream of consciousness that rhymes. And I do write stuff like that sometimes as well, but just don't share them because it's like you're journaling, but then it ends up rhyming. So I felt like that poem, like you can share it if you want because it's a proper poem, but it's also like in a form of journaling, like writing down your thoughts and your emotions and flowing with it, but it came out in a really beautiful way.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
I just wanted to say, I think it is a bit of a spoken word piece. I think it's like a new style of not new, but unique style of spoken word. Like, yeah, and stream of consciousness, I can definitely see that, but storytelling at the same time, and it's all mixed into one. But I can see why it's a page poem as well. Like it's got multiple meanings to it and multiple reasons for existing. Obviously, all poetry does, right? But like in one go, it was, epic.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
For me, I call it prose poetry. Like, and I remember once, so I'm an English teacher, but one of the schools I was teaching at, one of the like more senior teachers was like, oh, prose poetry is not a thing. And I'm like, well, why not? Like, who are we to say it's not a thing? And I think your poetry speaks to that, because I think like poetry is telling stories, but sometimes you can mix both kind of techniques of writing, because sometimes it's about the way that your pen just flows the ink out. It's not about, okay, I'm going to follow this rhyme scheme. I always find that interesting, actually. I never really knew that many poetry techniques. Like, I had to study it in order to teach it as an English teacher. But before that, I was just writing. And then actually, the more I learned about different techniques, first, it actually blocked my mind. And then I was like, no, actually, that's the beauty of spoken word, is where you just release it and let it, like free verse, But then with free verse, you realize if you were to analyze, like you said something about the alliteration of my poem, I was like, what alliteration? In my head, I'm just going with it. So for me, like, that's my favorite style of poetry, is prose poetry, but it is spoken word, like you said. And the line that for me stood out was about, being able to sleep with not knowing your calling, like a loyal partner. And that makes me think about also, for me anyway, something I think about in the sense of we tend to have a lot of questions in life and we always expect an answer, but you've got to come to peace with knowing that most questions won't have an answer. And when you can come to peace with that, you can come to peace with the journey, good or bad, that you're on. And not knowing your calling is a part of that. So it might not be how you meant it, but for me, is what stood out for me and spoke to me.
Yeah, definitely. I think that, but a lot of it as well, like I used to be a teacher, which I was talking with some of you guys about that earlier, and like I spent like 7 years and like literally like the busiest, like giving out, as well as like, we're in the whole culture of having like 16 side hustles, otherwise you're lazy, like, and doing that, and then like being a really big member of my family. And then it was like I had an operation last year, and I changed careers, and like now now I'm freelancing, which is going really great. But it's like there are days where you're like, I'm not doing anything. And it's like, that's because I'm a mess, and like I don't know what I'm doing, and I don't know what my bigger and it's like this stress of like constantly feeling like I've got to seize the day. And that's like kind of what inspired that, because it's kind of like, what does that even really mean? Like I don't even know what that means, like. And I think like that, like not knowing my calling is something that I'm definitely, like the older I've got, the more I'm like, oh, it's all right, isn't it? Like we're gonna be all right, don't matter. But at the same time, when I have a clear day, that's what comes up for me, like this like feeling of like, you don't know what you're doing, and like the days, you're wasting a day, and that means that you're wasting your life, and like, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Is that where the day seized me came from?
Yeah.
I really like that play.
Thank you.
So I was gonna say the last line you stood out for me a lot for some reason. Like the nighttime brings the last veil of excuses. Was that it?
Yeah.
I don't really have like even a deep comment to say about that. I just thought it was true. Yeah, I was just thinking like, you get what I'm saying? Because when it's time for sleep, like you're like, yeah, I can. You say to yourself, oh, okay, now I can do this tomorrow, but it's like an hour ago before it was like nighttime. It was kind of the same thing. So what? I don't know what it is about the dark sky that makes us think it kind of. But anyway,
There's certain things. No, but there's certain things I won't do after 10 o'clock. I'm like, well, I can't do that now. What do I mean?
but I think, I think we're all forgetting what we was gonna say today.
I mean, I've got a question. I already know what I'm going to say.
That was it. Yeah, the thing about, I think the thing about like when you feel like you have to seize the day every day, I think it's definitely heavily influenced by like the culture over here, because one of the like my favorite memes I ever saw was like one that said in there's certain cultures in the world where like they believe like their purpose is to just get up and like exist and be in nature and stuff like that. And obviously it's the culture over here, like capitalist culture, like you have to get up and work, innit? Because otherwise you kind of thing, innit? But obviously I always remember that like that meme, because I don't think we're naturally made to be like that. I think a lot of us was made to just chill. Honestly, just you are, yeah, honestly. And yeah, like I don't think like, because even me now I'm at a point where I'm trying to hustle. I'm thinking I'm working on projects right now, like to try and make money, but it's not really me. It's just like I just feel like I'm becoming this guy because I have to now. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. No, I wasn't gonna say much more.
I deeply resonate with what you were saying because I'm forgetting what. What was the last thing that you said? You said something that I resonated.
I've entered that stage in my life, like in the past, especially past year or two, where like I'm trying to hustle and make money.
Yeah.
But whereas a lot of other people, it comes more naturally to them. I don't feel like it's really me deep down. I'm that type of person. Like,
of course.
I'm chill. I like to get up and just chill.
Yeah. We've gotten so used. I feel like we've gotten so used to, because we need money to pay the bills and to have a roof over our head, get food in our stomachs and stuff. We've normalized that, but it's like recognize though that, and this took me a very long time to realize, rest is being productive. Yeah.
Yeah.
It took me a long time to realize. Like sometimes I would just literally drop my children off to school, and then on the days I'm not working, I just sit there for a few hours and just rest, because that's where you get the information and the downloads and stuff. And if you're not resting, or if you're filling in that time to do this or do that, or I need to go and run errands, or I need to do this, it's like we're busying ourselves. We're exhausting ourselves. Like we must prioritize, carve out even tiny bits of you time. It's so important. As you said, chill. You know, sometimes you just want to chill, like, or even just getting up a little bit earlier to factor in that chill time before you start, you know, your day. Also helps. That helps for me. Getting up at 5 a.m. That sounds very like weird, but those 2 hours before my children wake up, I've got that time to do a mini exercise, to meditate, to journal, and be still before the chaos starts with the whole getting ready for school and children refusing to put on their clothes and getting them to school on time rather than, Mom, I don't want to go today, and all this sort of stuff. But yeah, I mean, it's just the culture. I mean, even if you think of school, like being through the schooling system, now having children of my own, you look at school and you're like, rah, like the indoctrination is mad. And like it starts from young. And I'm just like,
we're trying to bring this in.
This is it. Right. It's mad.
I can
brain
appreciate that
works in
sentiment because having worked inside the system, and then it's so hard because you're inside the system, and it's like you are trying to break down the system, but you're part of it,
hard.
and then you're like, you're breaking you down at the same time, and then you're sitting with parents being like, listen, I understand,
Yes,
but
I do.
You know that whole thing of punishing you for being late, like you get attention. Late, like it's things like that started. Because when I'm at work every day,
Oh my gosh, no.
I look at the fears that people have like for their whoever's above them, and I'm always walking around like, raw, like what you like, my friend the other day, like she wanted to go home. They asked her to stay extra, and like she's like saying, "Oh, but I gotta do this," and the manager's firing back, and I was just like, "Are you not being like serious? Like if you wanted to finish and just go and sit outside the store and stare at us work, you're allowed to do that. You don't have to have an excuse for finishing at the time that your contract says you're supposed to finish." But I think that's a fear that we've putting up from young. It starts in school. Like you do this, and you just get so used to it. It's like, so you start explaining for things you don't even have to explain.
But what I was going to say is like one thing I like about your writing style, Memo, is like I can tell, it makes me curious, like, okay, what kind of books you read that influence her style? Because the thing is, like, when I was listening to that poem where you said, like, to me, that was, towards the poem, it was like reading a novel. And to me, when you said about the war and stuff, it reminded me of, like, Sun Tzu, The Art of War, and put an image in my head, like, like, it put an image in my head, like, we're in London and we're fighting people, and you look around, it's like, what's left of the damage? But then, also, your writing style reminds me of another book called Clap For You Land.
Yeah, it's a brilliant book.
Yeah, and I remember the first time I read that book.
Acevedo.
Yeah. And I remember the first time I read that book. It's like, I'm not like, that's the first time I think I mentally cried just reading that book. Because some people know I'm not really good at expressing my emotions. I like to hold it really tight, like really tight to the surface. Like suppress it, like you won't see it. But it's like one thing I like about Memo's writing style is just like she's telling me a story that I can listen to. And I can imagine in my head, like you put the words, the image. It's like, okay, I can listen to this all day and relax.
Thank you.
And the thing is, like, I always tell her, like, you have an amazing smile, but she keeps like, no, I don't like smiling. I don't like smiling.
I'm like, now what do I do with my face?
I told you keep smiling, man. It's good.
Thank you.
Nah, but I was saying, like, in terms of, like, poetry scene as well, I remember the first time I met you, it was like, you were, like, the host for Mind of a Matter, and I was thinking like,
Oh yeah, I hosted there for a day, didn't I?
Yeah, you hosted. I
forgot about that.
Film that day.
Yeah. Forgot about that.
Yeah, because Anna was here last time, and she was telling me that I'm coming back.
Yeah, good.
I think that's the first time I met you as well. It's like you had an amazing smile. You put everyone in the room. I was thinking, who is this woman? Yeah, she's got good energy and stuff. I was thinking like, she's a book nerd like me. I'm like, ooh. But yeah, but I was saying in terms of your poetry style, it's very good as well. Even you perform like groove verse. I listened to you as well, but I think you were talking about love as well. And I was taking in the notes mentally. I was like, it's all in everything. And I think a few poets, like I think you and Quim Leo, the only two poets I know that actually read from an actual book. And you bring
I'm about to break that because I'm about to read from my phone now, Duncan. You're blowing me up in front of everyone.
I'm just saying it. It's like, I kind of like that style. Like, it's very old school and unique. It's old school but unique, and I think we kind of need that style sometimes.
Yeah, I always start in a book. I always start everything, unless I'm like on road and I don't have, like I usually have a book with me anyway. But in fact, in my reading books, sometimes there's blank pages at the back. In lots of my books, there's like mad, weird poems at the back of there and random notes and words. But I like to transfer it onto my phone because I'm always scared that I'm going to leave I'm very clumsy. So if I leave my book somewhere, oh my God, people would think I was such a weirdo if they read my books. But like, I always have to transfer things onto my book. But I find it quite a nice process because I don't like, I'm lazy of like going back and editing stuff. Like I'm not a perfectionist. Like once it's out, it's out. Like I just kind of leave it there most of the time, unless it's like commissioned work or something like that. But like most of the time, if it's like a catharsis, I'm like, it's on the page, it's done. Whereas sometimes that transferring from page to phone, I'm like, oh, that's shit. And then like, I don't know, like it makes me edit stuff sometimes. So yeah, but I always start in a book. It's important. So yeah, okay, cool.
Now segue as well.
Yeah, segue into it. I'm aware of time. So I did have a piece that I wanted to share, but I think I'm gonna do something different, just in terms of the fact that there's loads of talented writers in the room. So this isn't. It's still a bit vulnerable, but mainly like some writing feedback on this because it's not finished, and I don't really know if I like it very much, and I want some, like, if you guys can think of any clever wordplay, help me out here, or like just like some ideas, like where it's going. So basically, you know, you start writing a piece and you're like, oh, I really liked it, and now I'm like, towards the end, I'm like, I don't really know where it's going. If that makes sense. Okay, cool. So, okay. I remember why I always hated Monopoly. Pass go and do not collect 200s. I remember why I got so upset because I made deals. Nice deals, didn't take the piss, I didn't capitalise and didn't take risks, and then was shocked when others did. There was clearly some confusion in the air. I thought it was a game of life to be paid fair, where we can all build together, working towards something better. It was clear I didn't understand the game or life, where people take and laugh in your face and make deals to change your fate, and then ultimately, when you lose it all, no one cares. Monopoly taught me the futility of the word fair. Yeah, we all start the same, but it's how you eat that sets us apart. Whether you can play me smart or what it says on that chance card. It's nothing to do with actually having a good heart. See, Monopoly left me scarred. I get so upset with the winner knowing that they were lying with their smile, all the while praying that I land and lose. My fate defined on a roll of 1 or 2. I wanted a colourful neighbourhood where we can all wave at each other across the board, but I forgot that we must travel. We cannot stay still, only winning by wishing ill. It's mad. I've never been accused of being the nice guy, but I am. You've only got to play me once to know, and then you'll play me again and again. Pretend to be my friend just to find me in the end. Fate in the roll of a dice. I don't want to go to jail, and I want to play nice, but I end up paying the price. I stop at your hotel and end up paying it thrice. I'm no sore loser. I just wish that I clocked on sooner that there's no way that we can all win at the same time. Not everyone gets their time to shine, and it's true you can hustle. See, some of us get the top hat and some of us are stuck with the old boots, but it's how you present it and how you sell it and how you move. Play on no matter what you stand to lose. Cheaters never prosper is not the truth. In fact, befriend the banker. That's what you've got to do. Get some reassurance and keep your shit on the move. Fly past the opponent and let the chaos ensue as long as it misses you. I'll say it with chest that Monopoly makes no allowances for community, makes no room for the connection. Truthfully, it destroys families, this greed, flipping tables over when there's mouths to feed, not caring for each other when we're in need. If you run out of money, they just kick you off the board. Your loss is their score. I just hate this fucking game where the fact that we keep going round and round like boxers, pound for pound, taking from each other, scrambling to the top of the heap where not everyone gets fed. So tonight, can we play Scrabble instead? Forgot I wrote that line at the end.
It's done.
It wasn't finished, but...
No. I'm like, what? Crazy.
Thank you.
That's perfect.
I actually wanted to do a YouTube video, Poets Play Scrabble, and I think that'd be so
That'd be
sick.
so sick.
So you actually reminded me of that.
That last line was
I actually forgot I wrote that line, so as I read it, I was like, that's kind of a sick line.
I'm a like, that book we were talking about childhood. I hate Monopoly with a passion.
I hate it so much.
My mum, every time it's like, don't play Monopoly. I'm like, Mum, I'm gonna come last. I'm coming last. There's no way. Because you know what it is? I always pick my favorite color. My favorite color is green. And every time I pick Bond Street, Regent Street, there was one area I couldn't build a hotel.
It's true. It's too expensive.
So every time I step foot, and like, I think the blue area, the brown area, and like everyone's like next to the beginning. I'm like, crap. All right, how much it cost? This is gonna cost this. This is that. And my younger sister always wanted me back. My mom was like, no, you love money too much. No. No. What you say is true. Like that game, is savage. I think last time I played Monopoly was at Christmas at my house, and we're playing the Game of Thrones edition.
Okay, right.
The Game
Even
of Thrones
more
edition.
savage.
My friend was like, I'm buying this. I'm like, can you do that? Yeah, I'll do it once. But nah, that game right there, what you say is true, because it reminds me of Rockefeller, like what he did back in the day. He used to buy the whole gas, I think it was a gas or station, Rockefeller. But he did with that real life. Like, he just bought companies after company after company. It was just came from insecurity, ego, and pride. But yeah, I mean, that game is life lesson, but it teaches you to be savage in a way. So definitely. So yeah, that's it.
Yeah, so I don't know like what type of feedback you meant that you wanted, but yeah, it was amazing.
Thank you. I never do that poem because I'm never sure and I can't finish.
You have to do that poem. Memo.
Do you think that sounds like an end though?
Yeah. I thought it sounded like you got to the end.
That will raise the roof.
Sick. Thank you.
Finished as well. He's saying it's not finished.
Yeah, the line is.
Thank you. Thanks.
I just think, oh no, maybe you was naturally questioning it like a lot of poets do, because I get that a lot. Like someone's like, oh, like what do you think of this or there? But it's like, bro, that's hard though. Like, why are you even questioning it? But anyway, I keep forgetting what I was gonna say today. So what it reminded me of, why it resonated with me, is because when you was talking about like, it seemed like he was talking about characters of people a lot. And I remember I wrote a poem not long ago where the first time was, the last clean-hearted person I met was a child, and I just wrote it because I was just going through a thought process of like just thinking about how, like, you know, there's a lot of bad characters in the world, and even, but I felt like there's a spectrum. Like, I'm on that spectrum. I'm tired of all this. Everyone thinking they're clean-hearted. Like, I just feel like I don't really think that exists apart from children, honestly. But I think we're so egotistical, and people, like, you know, because they maybe do good things or whatever, so they convince themselves that they're clean-hearted. But I honestly think, like, yeah, only children are really. Like, I feel like we all get certain thoughts in our head at some point that we shouldn't get. So yeah, it just resonated with me because, I don't know, writing that poem made me feel sad at the time, because it's a sad realization. We're surrounded by so much of this, and it's like, I don't know, you just gotta have faith in humanity, I guess. But yeah, the fact that it sent me on that thought process is just testament to like how amazing I thought the poem was. So
Thank you.
Yeah, man. Keep doing it.
As someone that likes to play Monopoly,
Get out.
so yeah, I mean, I'll get into the game and then I'll get into like the piece. I think why I like playing the game is because once you know how to play it, you can then play defensively. Because once you know how they think, then you can switch it up on them. Obviously, if you want tips on Monopoly, I can tell you that. But yeah, in terms of the piece, it's like I love that you kind of you're exploring the game. So there's there's touch points that people can relate to. So I think with the cards, like, you know, the community chest and take a chance, like you can like maybe use one of the cards to kind of emphasize another point in the piece, or another point that you want to bring into the piece. Like there's like a go to jail card or advance to go, and then you can use that.
The advance is a good one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Why do you get an advance?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
unfair.
See, like, yeah, I play there, and then also like you did bring up the pieces as well, like the boot and the top hat, which is sick. And then I think there's a race car as well. So I think using the others as well would be sick to like drill down into other points about community or other insights you have about.
Is there an
society.
iron?
An iron, yeah, there is
Is there
an
an
iron.
iron?
Yeah,
Isn't
there
it?
is an iron, yeah.
Misogyny.
Exactly, yeah. There's an iron. I think there's a dog as well. There's that little dog.
Yeah,
as
it is a dog.
well. Yeah, so
Cat,
you
a
can do
bee.
that. Yeah.
A bin.
Yeah, like even thimble, like even like the spots like free parking and stuff, and having that connect to something. But yeah, like I think there's a lot of I feel like it's pretty much what you want it to be. But if you wanted to, you could also still add things, because as you live life, other things are gonna come to you about society and about things, so you can then use the things from the board to kind of make your emphasize those things as well. But yeah, I mean, wordplay. I'm not really a wordplay poet, but you had enough. You displayed enough like wordplay in there as well.
Yeah. So you go and say.
I was going to say just really quickly, that piece is finished. It's amazing.
Thank you.
And it's so funny because it actually resonated with me because I haven't played Monopoly for about 5 years. Because the last time we played, my friend tipped the table. And I can see Priscilla's face right now. And everyone was vexed in the room as you were saying it. And literally, I've not played for 5 years. So I haven't played because everyone was vexed.
Yeah, it ruins evenings.
I've been friends still, their team were vexed. But we're still friends. We're not friends. Get away from me. Like, just a game. Like, it was a really good piece. Really, really
Thank you. Appreciate it.
I think for me, it's like when you talk about Monopoly, I think back to Mary said about peace. Yeah, you could talk about the 4 stations. You talk about like how TFL's always go on a strike and stuff.
Well, even when you just said free parking, I was like, does not exist in London.
Yeah, that's the irony. But no,
I was just thinking that maybe I need to play Monopoly, get real triggered by it, and then I can add another verse in there. Do you know what I mean?
And then pick those things that are your pet peeves from the game.
Yeah.
because I mean, when you talk about Monopoly, it just reminds me of Rockefeller, like owning the train station, buying oil and everything. Like, you know, it actually what he did, he actually bought everything. So you mentioned like the train station, I've heard, you know, the power of certain stations having more power control. And yeah, like I said, I like that piece as well because, like I said, like, I'm not like that game can make people or break people. That game could break people. And I see my own family members as well. So yeah, but it was a good piece as well. But my question is to you is like, what made you want to do that poem? Write that poem?
So I played a game of Monopoly, basically, and I just was like around people that like I really felt like I knew really well, and then I was like, "Rah, like you're all snakes," like, and it was like they were stealing from the banker and like putting hotels on that wasn't there, and I genuinely like the first half an hour of the game, like I'm just going around the board, just like chat, like having chats. This is what they do. They distract you by like not talking about the game and talking about like a series and stuff. So you're just like, yeah, rolling the dice, not paying attention. And like, I genuinely felt back to my like 8-year-old self, like of just feeling like, wait a minute, everyone is just like fucking me over basically. Yeah. And so I like, it genuinely was from a game of Monopoly. And I just feel like there's like these feelings of like, I don't know, like in this whole like one-upmanship of like everyone having to be better and like having more and this sort of stuff, and I definitely have like co-signed to those things like throughout my life in certain ways, and I think like I'm just kind of realizing that no one's like in the other piece I was going to do, which I'm not going to do tonight. It was like there's a line in which I basically say like when we realize about pain being relative to the patient as opposed to our own experiences, it's like we all kind of like what I've gone through isn't any harder or not as hard as what someone else has gone through. But I feel like in this game, in like Monopoly, as like this metaphor for life, it's like you just have to keep going and do better than the other person, and like I don't know, it's just, or even like you've got to have a harder life than that other person for something to be valuable, you know. And I just feel like we're constantly either trying to like one up with like what we have or one up with what we don't have to prove something else. And I find that like kind of mad. It's like it's going to send us into like spirals of like, I don't know, being more rubbish, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, I just find it like kind of weird. And then I was playing this game and I was like, look at people that I've known for years, like I've never seen you in this light before, like, and I know it's just a game, like I know it, but in my heart, like it was just bringing up something for me that was like, raw, like this might be how you deal with Monopoly money, but like, what about, you know, you just don't know, innit? Like, so that's what I'm saying, money can switch people. Yeah, so, and it's like, it's funny how like in a game of Monopoly, it's not real money, but the idea of it being real money almost makes people flip, you know? Like, and I find that mad, because really Monopoly money is real money, innit? Like obviously we know money like gives you access and whatever, but you know, a note is technically or was technically an IOU. Do you know what I mean? Like a £10 note was like, I want £10 of gold. So like that money isn't really real anyway. But it's just as real as Monopoly money, and it's just mad how like you start giving people the power within a game, and like I don't know, like it's just making me think about all of those things of if you just don't know where people are at sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, I was going to say I interpreted the poem as like an extended metaphor of the exploitation of the capitalist system, and and also this idea of meritocracy. So it's like the underdog being given this illusion that they can be in the same place as someone that actually has the upper hand and always had the upper hand, but you thought they were on the same, like it was a level playing field, but it was never a level playing field. And that's, again, it comments on the social construct that we live in. And I think maybe the creators of Monopoly wanted to expose that side of humanity. I don't know. And we never clocked on. So we played the game only to realize we were getting played all along anyway. So, yeah. I don't know.
No, that sent me on a journey, you know. I was like, yo, you're onto something there. Proper threw me off. Oh, yeah, I was just going to add to what you were saying, Memo, about I was playing Monopoly once with my friends, and one of them decided to be the banker. Long-standing life friend who I fully trusted. Turns out at the end of the game, he won. He was stealing from the bank the whole fucking time, and I was like, it makes me question. I was like, who even are you? Like, are you no, we ain't talking for a while now. Like, I was like, I took it serious because I didn't flip the table up, but like, I was close. I was close, but not because I lost, because I found out that he was stealing.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's not the losing, it's the dishonesty.
It was like, I was like, I just would never do that. I'd never even asked to be the banker. Now I know why you asked. Do you know what I mean? You could tell from my energy, I took it a bit serious. Anyway, I actually wanted to ask you a question though. Reading it, I don't know if you've read it in front of people before, but how do you feel about the poem?
I liked it more, maybe reading it out loud, I think. I'd never performed that for anyone before, and I just kind of was like, and then you guys made me feel really good about it. So, reading it out loud, it does feel different because I've just not really, like I said, I don't really like to go back and edit. So I kind of like wrote it. I've looked at it once or twice and thought, nah, it's not that good. And then today, read it out loud, it sounded like maybe it was flowing better. So
Nice. I just wanted to weigh in then that I don't think you need to add anything to it. I think that as is, done. I think we're all in agreement.
Yeah.
Very, very, very quickly, I think, you should do more poems like that where you're like talking about what you was thinking in your head. I don't know if this might have been part of the reason why like you wasn't thinking to do that one as much as others, but like a lot of poems, it's like it's a topic that a lot of people relate to. So like most of the stuff I write about is like probably like what's going on with black people. I know it's like something everybody's gonna. But those poems where it was like a random one where I was walking down the street and I might have wrote a poem about like someone's jeans. Not as likely to do it because it's like that's more personal. That's like Kwame, and I think, you're gonna think that I'm a nerd, like, because I actually think I'm telling you with the random things I think in my head, but a lot of the time you'll be surprised that those random things you think in your head is like the best content.
Yeah, it's true.
The best
it's
content,
true.
trust me. Like,
See
yeah,
how
so
many
share it.
strong feelings we've had about Monopoly. Like,
What's your standpoint on Cluedo?
on Cluedo. See, this is the thing, yeah. Do you know what's mad? Is that I'm a super competitive person. Like, genuinely, like, if you know me more, like, I train jiu-jitsu, like, compete all the time. Like, I love competing. I love sports, like, everything like that. But it's something about Monopoly. I don't know what it is that like triggers me. And I definitely think it's like what you said. It's not about the losing or anything like that. It actually is the dishonesty of it. Like that really like, because I'm like, I like to play a game, but I like to know like what the rules are, where everyone's at. Like I have like games nights at my house all the time. Like people know me like in my friendship group as like being like games master. Like I love playing games, but just we don't do Monopoly in my house.
Trigger warning, Monopoly, right?
Yeah, basically.
So in just to pull from everything else, but like originally Monopoly was a game, like a game from the East, but obviously they put a Western spin on it. But it's supposed to teach a value, not like not the value of money, but like it was something deeper. But they obviously construed it.
Yeah, it's not money, but it's economic. Like life lessons is the reason that they designed it. I'm a history teacher.
That's it. And then what's the other thing? So basically, another construct of the game is like with two dice, right? The most probable outcomes are 6, 7, and 8. So when those are if that's the most likely thing, then if you know that knowledge, then you can actually use that to your advantage. And if the others don't know, so it's also this idea of like with money literacy, that the people at the top keep us down because they have this knowledge of things that are like more predetermined. So you can kind of put that into the game. And then also there's another function of the game where when you come out of jail, obviously those most likely dice rolls, you're gonna land on that strip of property. So it's more valuable to own property there just after jail on that strip. So, and most people will actually build on that. So so you can use that in the piece to how to kind of emphasize the thing about London and where certain things are just more beneficial for others than other types of people, and just that kind of thing. So I just wanted to
That's so sick. See what happens though, because now you're giving me the tricks. I'm like, I can win. Exactly. I can see what I mean though. Like that actually happens because now I'm like, now I know I can go and prove them wrong.
And that's the thing about just knowing to play, not even play their way, but once you know how they play, then you can play defensively in life.
It's a probability thing.
Sure.
Like it's the same. It's the same with a lot of board games. But like if you wanna avoid people, because even people that cheat can't cheat probability, basically.
Yeah. That's what I wanted to share.
I mean, can we all agree that the purple area is something that we all don't touch? I mean, my house, we avoid the purple area like a plague. It's like no one can afford that area. Mayfair and them lot.
But it's actually it doesn't make sense to buy Mayfair because it actually makes sense to buy the cheaper properties because you can develop it the most. Train stations is good as well. So basically, one of the other things is I'm like proper into the game. So like, I feel like we could play. Yeah, we could play. I'm good. Yeah. Another thing is. I need to. Because I love board games as well. Yeah.
I've got strategies for other ones.
Okay, cool. I'm excited, So another one is to create a housing shortage in the game. So you don't buy hotels because there's a limited number of green houses. So for you to just build up your properties once you have a monopoly to just buy three, is it 4 houses to a hotel? So get 4 houses, don't get a hotel, and then
if you finish all 24 houses, then obviously no one else can buy any.
A house.
And then they can't get a hotel.
They have to. Then they can't get hotels. So you can create that as well. It's a good strategy.
See what I mean? I just want to play a game.
I'm scared.
No, I'm not.
I watch YouTube videos as well. I'm scared though.
You got some feelings for that one.
Mom, I've got a reason, but I know what you're doing.
Memo Brown.
Thank you guys.